This is the 2025 GMC Hummer EV 3X pickup. Does it have all the right features? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I borrowed this truck from my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you would like to know more, check out the link in the description of the video. Right off the top, here is the remote. Now it has all of the features that I know you like. Lock, unlock, remote start. You can open the tailgate. You can open and close the e-trunk, and you have your panic button. The only thing I wish was different here is the overall look of the remote. It should be different based on the fact that it is what it is as far as the model goes. Now you will find the animated LED headlights. We're gonna have LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. The Hummer logo is right there in the center. A little bit of a different look where that's concerned, instead of having it down here with this portion of the front end or something along those lines. And you will find some of the most aggressive recovery hooks I've found. Those things are really hard to move, but there they are, nice and strong. You also have your forward-facing camera right here. And obviously it's going to be all-wheel drive. 22-inch wheels. We're gonna have our air ride suspension. As you can see right there, I'll try and give you the best look at everything that's here as I possibly can. You'll also have your affixed assist steps. I think that works just fine on this model. It is nice to have that to make it easier to get in and out of. Now here's what we have with our side view mirrors. They're power adjustable, they're heated. You have your turn signal indicators built in. They're also power folding. I'll show you how that works. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can push the button right here. There's also a setting on the infotainment screen that allows for these mirrors to fold in and fold out when you lock and unlock the vehicle, depending on what you want. Let me get the remote out. We'll hit the button right there just so you can see that in action. You can turn that feature on and off. There is one thing missing, however, with these side view mirrors. A little bit of a surprise, especially at this price point, and that is the fact that you don't have turn signal indicators built in. You're gonna find passive entry on the front door handles and the rear door handles. If you're not familiar with what that is, that means you can come to either door and unlock or lock all four doors. Very easy to deal with. And here is our charge port. I'll show you where that is. Nice and easy that it's just manual like that. You don't have to push any buttons or use any sensors to open and close that. That just makes things a lot easier. Obviously, you can use your DC fast charger if you want to. And we'll finish things off here on the rear with the LED tail lights. Very bright after dark. Kind of hard to see that during the day, but you can see what's going on as far as those are concerned. Do have a little bit of animation built in there as well. Our Hummer EV logo. And we also have a multi-pro tailgate back here. So that's going to make things a little bit easier to deal with when it comes to how this works. Now there's a few different things you can do here. You can use it this way. You can open this area up. You can use that as a table. You can use this as a bed extender when it's in this position. But obviously, you can also open it as a conventional tailgate. That's done with that button right there on the right-hand side, the larger of the two buttons. There is bed extender number 2. And we'll also find, let's see if I can find those buttons one more time, and we will drop that area down. Now, the thing I like about this area, when you drop that down, is that it makes it easier to, say, plug something into your power outlet right there, or maybe untie something that may be tied up back here. We have several different tie downs, and obviously the built-in bed liner. All of those things are going to be very helpful. But that's not all you have. This also functions as a step, as you can see right there, to make it easier to get in and out of the bed of the truck. You can tow up to 8,500 pounds, and the payload is 1,300 pounds. And for those of you who might have noticed, yes, I did close the charge port door. When it comes to the e-trunk, let's take a look at that area. I'll show you how everything works as far as opening that. We're gonna hold that button down and get that taken care of. Let that go. You just push the button twice and it goes up. And if you're wondering what these are right here, this is for storing your sky panels that are part of the roof area. So that's those are all gonna store in here and be nice and safe. You can obviously remove that and take advantage of your 11 cubic feet of cargo capacity that the e-trunk offers, and then very easy to close. We'll show you how that works. Everything very simple here. As high-tech as this model is, it's actually very simple to learn and use all of the different features. Horsepower is 830 and can be up to 11,500 pounds-feet of torque. Now, for those of you who say that isn't an accurate number, go to the GMC Configurator website before you leave a comment telling me I'm wrong about that, and do your research, because it will indeed show you that that number is accurate. Driving distance on a single charge with this model is 314 miles. Depending on how many kilowatts you're working with, when you use a DC fast charger, you could potentially gain 100 miles of driving distance in about 10 minutes. If you're under 100 kilowatts, it will take around 2 hours to go from 10% to 90%. Now let's take a look into the Lunar Shadow interior. I like that it's not all black. Some of you might say, you know what, Tom, I like the all black interior. Plenty of room with the armrest right here. And we have a nice large door bin, cup holder right here. And I like the bronze finish you're going to find throughout the interior with the trim work. We will also have the in-seat storage. I think that's one of the most convenient things that any GMC truck offers, just giving some extra storage capacity. And via the steps and using the grab handle, it is so easy to hop in and out of the interior right here. Before I do that, I did want to show you, those are the sky panels. For those who may not know what I was talking about earlier in the video when I showed you where you store those, there are 4 of them. Make sure you securely fasten them in place when you put them back in if you ever take them out. Not because they'll come out necessarily when you're driving down the road, but because they'll rattle and make a lot of noise. But it is possible to eliminate that, not a big deal. We're gonna have our seat pockets on the back of each seat. We will also find the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in and your rear window defogger. And here is the command center. For your air conditioning, we have 3 zones of climate control, the rear seating area being the 3rd zone. You can adjust fan speed and temperature, as you can see. We also have the heated outboard seats, 3 different stages where that is concerned. Air conditioning vents, and we'll also find a couple of options for connectivity and a little bit of storage space under here for the cell phones or whatever else anyone may choose to put down there that will fit. In my opinion, and you can tell me what you think beyond what I'm showing you here, the 2 things that are missing with the exterior. Number 1, we don't have turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors. The other thing is that you don't have soft closed doors. And let's take a look at the front seat. This is the main area of attraction, in my personal opinion, with the Hummer EV pickup. And by the way, how about the sticker price? You're looking at $110,295 for this model. You can see the animated graphics coming up on the screens, and we'll go ahead and bring everything to life right here, and I'll try and get rid of the noise telling us that it's in demonstration mode. But what all will you find here? Fully adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger. They're going to be heated and ventilated. You control that right here. You can see that. There's your heated and ventilated functionality. That's going to be on both sides of the seats. Very comfortable, by the way. Fully adjustable. You've got your Hummer EV logo right there. And plenty of room as far as the glove box goes. And one more thing I want to show here that I think is nice and convenient is going to be the pass-through. A lot of space to take advantage of where that's concerned. That's always a good thing. Your upper console, you can see what all is there. You have your adjustable rear view camera mirror. You can adjust the brightness and its position. All of that's done right here. Or you can just turn that off if you want to use that as a conventional style mirror. And you do have your home link for your garage doors. 3 different buttons right there, as you can see. And then over here on the driver's side door, I already showed you, there's your button for your power folding side view mirrors, and then everything else for adjusting those lock, unlock. You have something here that I think should not only be on the driver's side, but also on the passenger side. It is not, and that's going to be seat memory settings. At least that's my thought on it. Tell me what you think. But you can see that it's not there. And here is your steering wheel with all of your typical steering wheel mounted controls, including the button right here to use Super Cruise. That's going to be the indicator right here. It's going to let you know what's going on with that. Semi-autonomous driving, typically out on an interstate highway. You can let the vehicle drive itself. It will use its own blinkers to change lanes and change back to where it needs to be, all that good stuff. It works very well where that is concerned. And here is our driver's display. A very nice modern look, but if you say, you know what, Tom, I don't like that. Well, guess what? You have some options, and all I'm going to do is arrow over until we get to the right thing. Here we go. You can see what I'm doing right there, and then we'll use the control right here to scroll through, and you can actually push on that area, and that lets you go in and make changes. There are quite a few different presets as far as what you can use, depending on what you want it to look like, but that's not all you can do. I'm not going to go through everything, but what I'm going to do is go back here. You can, depending on the layout you're using, you can change the left side. Now, you can't change the right side on this particular layout, but you can see what else you can do. Quite a few things here as far as units. You've got speed warning, speed sign display, all of that's going to be here, even your software info, or if you need to, you can reset that to your defaults, and then you can arrow over and see what else you have. So a nice modern look, I like that. You don't even need me to tell you how to use that. It's so simple. And we'll also find everything here for our headlights. You can set that to auto if you want to. You can leave them off. You can do whatever you want to with that. Over here is everything for your windshield wipers. And by the way, here's something interesting about the windshield wipers is the fact that there are 3 of them. Since you have such a large, wide windshield, that is convenient to have those 3 windshield wipers. And again, what I think is one of the most important areas to talk about here is the center screen. You can see that it, again, has that nice modern look to it. A lot going on here. That doesn't mean it's complicated to learn. I do wish that there was some place to set my fingers right here when using that. Down here in this area, everything down here are the controls for your air conditioning, as you can see. Something that's interesting about that, I haven't seen this in other vehicles, but when you change the fan speed, you'll notice that the fan actually rotates right there. Kind of a cool thing. But as you work your way through, you can still figure out what's going on with that hunt and peck method. We're going to have our cameras on and around everywhere. Whatever you need to see, you can pretty much see everywhere you need to. You've got the overhead views, and notice when you have those 2 dots right there, one is going to be red and the other one's going to be grayed out. That means you have 2 different camera views for that particular camera or that particular angle. Makes things nice and easy for such a large vehicle to see what's going on around you. You're also going to have the in-bed view if you want to use that. You need to see what's going on back there, and the overhead view. And we'll go back here because there are quite a few other things I'd like to show you. You've got off-road right here. If you want to see what that is, I'm going to bring that up for you. Not a whole lot of information to give you, but you can see what's here as far as all of that goes. But something that I know a lot of you like to know about, vehicle settings. Well, you can see that you have connections, vehicle notifications. You can see what all is here. But I want to go back up here to vehicle because there are some things here that I know a lot of people like to know about. Now, one-pedal driving, if you're not familiar with that, I like to leave that off personally. That's using regenerative braking. It slows the Hummer down. When you take your foot off the power pedal, you can still operate the brakes normally, but it helps to slow it down a little bit faster and help to keep the charge capacity up. By using that feature, you have teen driver mode, rear seat reminder, buckle to drive. In my case, I have that turned off because I'm just moving this Hummer around in the parking lot where I am, but I do recommend using your seatbelt when you drive. And you have Super Cruise lane change right there, drive mode customization. We'll run into that real fast and take a quick look if it will get up quick enough for us. And you can see that there are a lot of things you can change. Everything doesn't have to be normal. For example, you can go to off-road or terrain, and depending on your situation, you can use adrenaline, relaxed, or normal for your acceleration. I think I'll leave it on adrenaline because it is a lot of fun to drive these EVs, especially these that are so fast for their size. And you have normal, relaxed, and adrenaline for your motor sound, and then you can go in and customize things with my mode. Let me get out of that. Nice graphics, by the way. And something that I know a lot of people like to know about, how about your safety features? I like to make sure I go over that. Automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking. You have your adaptive cruise go notifier, lane change alert, park assist with braking, park assist tow bar. You also have your rear cross traffic alert and rear pedestrian alert. With a vehicle this size, that's nice to have. Just one of those nice little features that are here, or many features that help out where that is concerned. And there is your heated steering wheel button. A lot of you might have thought, well, where is the heated steering wheel button, since that is how you turn adaptive cruise on? Well, there it is right there. Traction control. I think you know what else is there as far as that goes. And you have your wireless charging pad right here and a couple of USB adapters. What do you think about the shifter right here? I think that's well placed. Some people might want to see it on the steering column, but I know some people would probably say that it might block the center screen, but since it's not there, we don't have to worry about that. Your cup holders and plenty of room with the center console that lid doubles as an armrest. Don't worry, that's not the only space you have in there. That's actually a removable tray. Now, I didn't forget about our driving modes. Here they are right here. In fact, let's go through those. All you're going to do is twist that knob right there, that dial, and it's going to let you go through everything. And you can see all of the graphics that accompany everything. My mode, we have off-road, did not mean for that to rhyme, by the way. Terrain is there, tow haul, and normal. I don't know if you would call anything normal here with the Hummer EV pickup as far as that goes. But a lot going on where this model is concerned, but don't be intimidated by the technology here. Like I say, I can't say enough about how it's very simple to learn and very simple to use. And by the way, you also have crab walk, so you don't have such a large turning radius with such a large vehicle. And all I'm going to do is hold this button down. Notice how that's a button right there. I'm going to hold that down, and here's what's going to happen. And that's how you do that. That really helps out in tight turning situations. Maybe sometimes even takes a little bit of getting used to. By the way, you also have four-wheel steering. How aggressive is the four-wheel steering? Well, you can see the angle of the rear tire. I've turned that all the way. It goes both ways, obviously, but you can see how far that actually turns. All right, let's get out on the road for our test drive, and I'm going to let you listen for a few seconds. Slow back down a little bit here and just hit the pedal. Let's see how it goes. You actually get quite a bit of noise. Now I'm going to slow back down because it doesn't take much to get up to more speed than I need to be going. But one thing that's interesting, you can feel the front end rise up pretty aggressively. It's almost as if it's trying to pick the front end up, do a little bit of a wheelie or a wheel stand. But obviously it can't do that. It's way too heavy, but with all that horsepower and torque, it sure does its best. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is the fact that you have a power adjustable steering wheel as far as its positioning goes. Tilt and telescopically adjustable. That button is located on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, or the steering column, I should say. Now, one thing that I also wanted to tell you about, you'll notice that the cameras are on, or the camera is on, and I have it on the rear view camera. You can do that with all of the different camera views. It makes it very nice and very convenient as far as being able to see what's going on around you when you need to. I recently bought a new house and used my GMC Sierra 2500, which is a 2024 model. It will do the same thing as this camera system will do, or this infotainment system will do. And it made it easy when I couldn't see with my rear view mirror because my truck doesn't have the available rear view camera mirror. You can't get that on the SLT trim level, which is what I have, but I could still see what was going on behind me very easily. Now, that's not something you can get on all years of all different vehicles of the GMC models that are available, or any GM model, but a lot of the newer ones, the last couple of years coming out, do have that available option. A lot of fun to drive. It's big, but honestly, when I drive it, and this is one of those things where you really need to check out these vehicles for yourselves. Don't just take my word for it. It doesn't feel as large as it might seem it would, but then again, let's keep in mind what my daily driver is, that GMC 2500, which is also a nice, large, wide pickup. And so I'm used to something that's really large. Somebody who maybe is driving something else might come in and say, no, Tom, I don't agree with you on that. It feels huge to me. But it just depends on what you're used to. But if this is something you want to buy, it's not hard to get used to. Plus you have all of the great features as far as your driving aids go and your blind spot monitoring and all the different camera views to help you out with things like that. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. Easy to get to everything, plenty of room for driver and passengers. I'd say definitely a well-rounded vehicle. Definitely not what I would call your typical EV, if there really is such a thing. And there it is, the 2025 GMC Hummer EV 3X pickup. Does it have all the right features? Tell me what you think down in the comment section. I know I gave you my feedback on some of the things that I feel like should be here that are not, but I'm always curious to know what you think about that. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this truck for the day so I could tell you all about it. And all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And please share this video, if you would, on your timelines on social media. If you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.